Scientist, and welcome to my new video right here. Today, I'm going to bring you a very special guest, and he will be he will be sharing his knowledge, his views about different subjects, which we will be speaking on in the next few minutes. But firstly, I would really like to give a shout out to all of you. So my channel, Desi Scientist Vlogs, is pretty new. It's just 5 months old right now, and already my channel has been given so much of love. Uh, More than the number of subscribers have come to 700 plus, uh, which is really great. I think. Thank you. I will try to bring in better videos. I will bring in more guests. I will try to bring in different views that will help all of you to actually learn a few things about different subjects in life. So talking about that, and then just like, share my channel and subscribe. So moving on to the guest today. So today my guest is a very special person. He is currently living in India. He's living in a nuclear family, so we will be having one or two questions about that also. He hails from Chennai. He did his BTech in mining engineering. Yes, mining engineering, and I think there will be a few questions in that aspect also. The guest has done various sacrifices in his life, and just to pursue what he wanted to do or wants to do. We will be talking about that also. Just to give you a hint, it's related to UPSC, and he is a very knowledgeable person in terms of Indian history at large. So there will be a few fun facts about that also spoken in this video. So bringing my guest, Nagabhushan Murali. Hi Naga, how are you doing?
Hi, Pawandeep. How are you?
I'm
Thanks for
doing
having me.
great. Thank you, Naga. Thank you. When I just began this channel, and when I thought about doing these videos with different guests, you were there on the top 5 of my list. So
Thank
thank
you. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for being here. I know you are busy, but yeah, just you have given our channel your time. Uh, yeah.
No problem,
So
man. Anytime for you. And I'm really glad that you're doing this, sharing content with your subscribers, so bringing a guest every week, sharing like whatever you can with this world. So great initiative, and I'm really happy to be a part of.
thank you, Naga. So let's then begin. What do you say?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
All right. So uh, somehow some people want to divide North India from South India, right? In my opinion, India is one. There is no North and South. There is no East and West. Yes, we are a union of states, but then we are one nation. We are not different states making up a nation. What do you think, as you have traveled throughout India? What do you think is the one major unifying aspect between North and South India?
Okay, one unifying aspect between the North and South India, I think it is the people. See, like we might speak different languages, our cultures might be different, our like cuisines might be different. But I think like largely we have a similar backgrounds. See, as in we have a similar like family structure. We have like similar like lifestyle, across India, across states. So I think the biggest unifying factor is the people in itself, right? Because if you compare the way of living here across states, it is quite different to other parts of the world. I would say even our like neighboring countries like Sri Lanka or even like Nepal or Pakistan can like find some difference. But from south to north, I would say that our like lifestyles, our way of thinking, our like family structure is quite similar. So the one factor that really like unites India, like despite multiple like languages, the multiple like cultures, multiple cuisines, etc., is the people of the country. So
True that. You just mentioned regarding the family structure back in India. I can definitely vouch for it because here in the US, uh, the family system isn't there. I think the Americans are now learning our ways of life.
yeah,
I think
correct.
family really matters a lot. Family acts like a backbone, right? And then, as you are living in a nuclear family, what do you think are the strengths of living in a nuclear family?
Okay, I think the first major strength of living in a nuclear family, I would say, is the independence that you get. See, like sometimes when two or three generations are living under the same roof, some like decisions you have to like consult the other people, like not like necessarily your parents or the elder, uh, like people who are part of the extended family, like they will also have a minor say in your like decisions. When you live as a nuclear family, I think you can take those decisions for yourself. So it gives some independence, and also you are, or you like rather like learn to live alone, so without being like dependent on anyone. So I think that is the biggest strength of a nuclear family is the independence and I mean the ability to live alone without like, depending much on people. Even though they're your family, you're still on your own. So I think that is one of the major strength. But like, there are other like drawbacks as well which we can like, get into sooner. Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be negative things also. But then I think that definitely living in a nuclear family is becoming more rarer, even in India. And the reasons, I think all of us know about that. Regarding jobs, people go to different cities, living there. But actually, that nuclear family creates a strength also, I think. Uh, and definitely, as we all try to be nuclear, try to have that strength within us, actually, even if people go outside of the family, that actually create that strength remains. If you have your uncles living in the same house, aunts, brothers, sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are like very right when I mean when you say that we are moving back to the joint family system because see like these days both the husband and wife, I mean they are working. Someone has to take care of the kids at home, and inevitably it is the grandparents doing that role. In almost every household, like these days, you see that both the parents are working and the kids are being taken care of by the grandparents. So we are moving back to the joint family system that was prevalent in the 1960s, 70s, 80s. I think for the brief period in the 90s and early like 2000s, the nuclear family system was starting to evolve and it started to dominate the scene. But now, like owing to the improvement in the education for women, more number of women are in the job market, so they're also contributing economically to the family,
Yep.
and marriages are happening with two adults who are working, right, with both the husband and wife working. So someone has to be there at home to take care of the kids, and that responsibility is now being given to the grandparents, and to have the grandparents like living with the grandkids and their kids. So we are like moving back to the system uh, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Who is
Yeah.
your who is your favorite member in your
My
family?
family. Okay, that's an interesting question. I would say my grandfather. Like even though I did not like live with him because I lived maybe 250, 300 kilometers away from him. But like whenever like there was a vacation, like whenever I had a holidays for maybe 2 or 3 days, the quarterly, the annual holiday, I used to go and spend time with my grandfather. So those those days, they are very fresh in um, memory. I like cherish those days, and
Yeah,
but, I would say that like those days are the best days of my life. So I would say my grandfather. Yeah.
I think that staying with your grandparents, that that actually really helps you to actually live your life also in your younger days.
With your like, grandparents, you have that liberty. You can like pretty much do
Absolutely.
anything. You can do any
Absolutely.
mischief, and you can like, get away with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you
True.
can't do that with parents. See, if you do some mischief with your parents, you have to face certain consequences. you you are answerable to your parents. But with your grandparents, you can like pretty much do anything, and you can get away with it. They will they will still love you for whatever mistakes you do. So yeah.
Uh, so basically, in your state and near your city, which is one place or one spot that you will recommend all the viewers to visit at least once in their life?
Okay. In Chennai, I think no secret. You have to visit the Marina Beach, the second like longest beach in the world. So you have to like visit the Marina Beach. And if you're like looking for a historical site, maybe you have to visit like Mahabalipuram, which is around like 40 kilometers from Chennai. So you have to like visit the temples there. You have to visit the buildings, the structures built by the Pallava kings, back in the day. So that is another iconic place I would recommend. But it is not exactly in Chennai. It is around 40 kilometers from Chennai. But if you're there in Chennai, if you want to visit a place that is inside Chennai, I would say is the Marina Beach. You have to visit the Marina Beach, and
Perfect.
probably the Ripon building also. I mean, the Ripon building was built by the British India back in the 1700s. It is the administrative headquarters. So probably that building as well because it has like, survived 3 4 centuries. So yeah, so that's another place.
Nice, nice, nice. So now let's move on to the real questions, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But bring it on.
So you have BTech in mining, right?
Yes.
Uh, why did you choose mining engineering? Because usually people go for computer science engineering, IT, electronics, mechanical.
Yeah.
Mining is not that common. Mining is a bit rare to actually choose. Why did you choose to study mining?
Okay, that's an interesting question. See, after I completed uh, my 12th standard, we have to give an entrance exam here. Basically, it is a combination of my 12th score, the marks I secured in physics, chemistry, and math, and my entrance score. So the cutoff here in Tamil Nadu is for 300 marks. So 200 marks they take from your score of physics, chemistry, and math, and 100 marks from the entrance exam. So my cutoff was around like 272 for like 300, and I went to the engineering council, right? So I mean, the college that I got into, that is the best college in my state, is the College of Engineering, KP. It is one of the top colleges in the country. After the IITs and after BIT, you can say maybe in the top 50. So I was called for the counseling on the third day. As you know, the first 2 days, all the computer science, easy, triple E, all those things, it got filled. So on the third day, I had mechanical, I had mining, I had manufacturing, I had industrial engineering, I had agricultural and irrigation engineering. See, because my uh, interest was to like pursue engineering in this particular college. See, if yeah, like had I wanted, I could have like, pursued an electrical engineering or a computer science engineering in some other college, in some other like private college. But I was very clear in my mind that I wanted to pursue my engineering in this particular college. So that was very clear. See, because end of the day, your college matters, like where you study and the kind of exposure that you get in one of the best colleges in the country, that will take you a long way. So I was very clear. Instead of pursuing an electrical or IT or computer science in a private college, I would as well like pursue the core engineering in this college. So when I went for counseling the third day, I mean the last seat in mechanical, it was taken by the guy before me, or rather like two guys before me. I
Oh
was
my
like
God.
third in the line. Yeah, I was like third in the line, and like yeah, two guys before they took mechanical engineering, and basically it got filled. But I had plan B. I had like worked it out with my parents. Like we had sat and we had uh, worked it out before because we knew that. I mean, there is every possibility that mechanical will also get filled. So like there should be a plan. So the plan B was already in place. So
Hmm.
from the options of manufacturing, industrial, and mining, I spoke with certain experts here in Chennai, and they advised me to take mining, not uh, like mechanical, because see, mining as a core field, I mean, the scope is much broader than industrial engineering or manufacturing. If I get into the mining sector, I can work in underground mines, I can work in open cast mines, I can work in metal mines. Uh, so there is a broader scope here in India as well as in abroad. You can go and work in Australia, you can work in countries like Canada, South Africa. So it's much wider. So I was pretty clear that if not for mechanical engineering, it's going to be mining. So I opened the seat. I mean, my department, you have 25 seats. So I was the first one to pick the seat because, as you know, there's a mad rush for other engineering
Yeah.
seats
Yeah.
like triple A, AC, mechanical, etc. So I was the first one to open the seat here for mining engineering. Yeah, because I was very clear. Like once I knew that the mechanical also got filled, I had mining as well. That was my
Right. Once you completed your BTech, uh, of course you have to then start finding jobs, and then you actually worked in the mining sector for around 4 to 4.5 years. Can you can you share with the viewers like where you were working and what what material or what mineral were you mining?
sure. Okay, so I'll just give a brief story of how I actually got into this company. I worked in like Dalmia Cement. I'll just give you a brief like prelude of how I got into that company. The first, see, as you know, in engineering colleges, once you enter the final year, you'll have, I mean, the campus interviews. The first interview, I actually attended an IT company. That is the irony. Having done the core engineering in India, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, the IT companies they're willing to hire even the core engineers. So the first company was the IT company. But fortunately or unfortunately, I would like leave that to the viewers. I did get selected. It's the first IT company I I attended. See, I cleared the first round. The like written test I cleared, but the interview it did not go according to my expectation and according to the expectation of the interviewer. So I did not get selected. Then I had an option of attending an IT company or a core company. I mean, the second company. Uh, I mean, the same day I had to choose either this or that because both the interviews were happening at pretty much the same time. And then I made up my mind that okay, like let's give the core interview. I mean, the core company a try. See, the advantage of attending an IT is that I can get placed in Chennai. Basically, I've lived all my life in Chennai. So getting into the IT sector, I can live with my parents. I can live in the city
Mm-hmm.
that I've pretty much lived all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm choosing core engineering, I have to be away from home because
Yeah.
we don't have mines in like near to city.
Cities,
You have to,
yeah. Like you
yeah.
will have to go outside of the cities and then probably near some village or some smaller town where there are mines. So, so what mineral were you mining?
Okay, so this is like limestone. Limestone was the mineral. So limestone is the raw material in the manufacturing of cement. So we it is the first step in the manufacturing of cement. So I was involved in the mining of limestone. Once it is mined, it is sent to the plant which is nearby. The Dalmia plant is very like nearby to the mine. After that, it goes into a crusher and then it goes into a kiln where like different chemical reactions happen. And once it is out of the kiln, like there is another process called grinding where the mineral is further like reduced in size. Once that is over, it is packed and it is sent out as a cement bag. So this is the process of cement manufacturing. So I'm involved in the first step where I have to
Okay.
like mine. It is basically an open cast mine. Uh, if it goes beyond like 20 meters, it is an underground mine. So I don't have to go down. It's an open cast mine. So yeah.
But still, there uh, with mining, there has to be certain safety measures, right? So, uh, just for the viewer's sake, can you please try to uh, explain this briefly? Like in general mining, be it coal, what are the basic uh, mining measures for safety, and then what are the duty timings that you were having there?
Okay. So the first safety measure that you have to take in open cast or in underground mine is you have to be away from the site where drilling and blasting happen. Because in the mine that I work, like we used to excavate every using the method of drilling and blasting. So you're using explosives and you're involved in blasting. So you have to clear people for a radius of maybe 400, 500 meters. And you have to be like pretty sure that no one is in the vicinity of the coal seam when the blasting operation is conducted. So that is the first like safety measure that you have to take. You have to like load the explosives. You have to give the connection. You have to ensure that no one is there in the vicinity. So that is the first safety measure. And the second safety measure, if you're working in an underground mine, you have to ensure that there is no leakage of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. Because in underground mines, the ventilation is the first important thing. If you like suffocate and die, that's a big like, error on the part. So you have to
Yes.
ensure that there is no leakage of carbon
Wo-
dioxide, carbon monoxide, and the
So,
ventilation is proper. So
uh,
in the underground mine, yeah.
So were there any such deaths when you were there?
No, like fortunately, when I was there, I did not witness uh, anyone like dying. I've seen certain accidents, but nothing like major, like nothing like life threatening. I would
Will you just
whatever I yeah
will you
yeah
just share one of those stories when like someone might have got hurt really really badly?
yes. So this happened in a like conveyor belt of
Okay.
the cement manufacturing plant where the cement is packed and it is sent through a conveyor belt. So one of the workers on that fateful day, what he did, like without paying like proper attention, he placed the cement bag and then he let one of his fingers like slip through the conveyor and he ended up losing a couple of fingers.
Oh,
So we couldn't do anything.
very
And
sad.
yeah, we had to like pull him and he lost like two fingers and he was screaming in pain. As you know, when you lose two fingers, can be very very painful. So that
Hmm.
is one incident that I can like recall immediately. The other incident happened where a guy he inhaled the dust of limestone. As a result, he developed bronchitis, like because of the prolonged exposure. See, you have to wear a mask always. Uh, in this particular case, the mistake was on his side because he took it like pretty lightly. He was not wearing mask, and the prolonged exposure to the dust there, can it can get you
Yeah.
some respiratory problems. So that's another incident that I remember where a guy developed like respiratory issues. Yeah,
So, as you might be knowing that there have been some new lithium reserves that have been found in Jammu region,
right,
right? And then it's said that they might be the largest lithium reserves in the world, or probably in the top three,
right,
right? Uh, Lithium mining will make our country self-sufficient in terms of battery production,
yes,
which will go a long way in producing electrical cars or vehicles, which will also go a long way in reducing our use of fuel, like like the ones that we are currently using for making our vehicles move, basically, which will in turn save us at least 300 to 400 billion dollars per year, which is massive for us,
right,
for a country which is having right now $704 billion in its forex reserves. Uh, a save like you are saving at least 300 to 400 billion dollars in that aspect, and you can actually use that money in like different fields.
correct.
What do you feel when these companies are going for lithium mining? Are there any extra safety measures which are required than the ones which were there in your mind? And how do you see that India growing in future in terms of mining?
Okay. See, like whenever a new company it is starting to explore a mineral, the first thing they have to be very careful not not to destroy the environment around. So the environmental impact assessment has to be done properly, so that uh, the mining process it should not harm the environment in any way, or even if it is harmed, it should be kept to a bare minimum. So that thing has to be ensured because see, the mining end of the day also contributes to pollution, to air pollution, to water pollution, because the byproducts of mining it is let out to the nearby water body, and people who drink that water can get infected. And the air
Hmm,
pollution, as you know, is another major issue.
hmm,
So the proper environmental studies and the proper environmental impact assessment has to be done. That is the first thing. And the second thing, the people who are living like close by, like they should. I mean, these companies should win over the confidence of those people in terms of like giving them employment and not like displacing them to some other town or like nearby place. Like they should like live there and somehow these companies should provide them employment and like these companies should ensure that like displacement is not happening. So, so that is another thing. And regarding the future of mining in India, I think it is quite positive because we have adequate like reserves across the country, have ample like resources in states like Jharkhand. See, I think there is a lot of scope for Jharkhand to develop. As it is now, it is underdeveloped. I think this mineral belt in Jharkhand, if it is properly harnessed, can lead to like large scale, like, development. It's a mineral rich state. The same thing with Odisha. Odisha is also having sufficient like reserves in metals and the other minerals that properly put to use. That state can also develop a lot. And even the coal mines in West Bengal, to some extent, when it is properly harnessed, it can lead to good development. So India, as such, is abundantly blessed with minerals. We have to probably put that to better use because like China is overtaking us in mineral production. So we have to.
So,
So,
so
yeah.
why, like, there is some sort of a like a competition all the time between India and China, because both the countries in terms of population are similar, though we are more now than them, and we are much more younger than them, and we, I think, have a brighter future than them. But still, uh, how do you see that China is having better machinery? Are they are they doing their work much more efficiently than us? And
Yeah.
if they are doing so, what do you think that India has to change or do or to modify to actually become number one in the world in this sector?
Okay. So the thing with China, they've given equal importance to manufacturing as well as the services sector. You take their GDP numbers, you can see that their growth is driven by both manufacturing and services. In India, there is a mismatch. The contribution of manufacturing to GDP around maybe 20-22%. Services sector it contributes maybe 55-60%. So that bridge we have to
Cross, basically, right?
cross it. Yeah, that bridge we have to cross. We have to ensure that the contribution of manufacturing, if it is not on par with like services, at least maybe 70% of the services sector, and we can do that by certain initiatives of the government, wherein you bring in more people to the manufacturing sector, you go for skill development, bring in more like workforce in the manufacturing sector. I think we are doing that like presently with schemes like Make in India, where the indigenous like production of goods is happening, but it has to happen on a large scale. See, because as you like rightly pointed out, we have a young population, and there is a lot of scope for such people to work in the manufacturing sector. But like there is a gap in terms of skills. Uh, like we might have a literate population, but the skill set of the people is not matching. I mean, the demands of the industry. So I think with adequate skilling and with some initiatives of the government, wherein you provide certain incentives to the manufacturers, you can really like ramp up uh, the production of goods. So it- see, it will take time. Uh, Maybe few years where you at least reach like 70 to 80% of the services sector. But as of now, India's growth is like predominantly like fueled by the services sector. So once we get our manufacturing also to that level, I think maybe we can compete with China, but still a long way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
see, like by the time we cross that bridge, I think China would have probably crossed a couple of more bridges, so to speak.
Hmm.
It's not
Hmm.
going to be difficult because they've got a very good head start. So China.
Yeah. 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 Especially China. Uh, like we have had so many wars also to fight. So we actually had to give our resources to our defense more, and we are still having to do that. So just uh, so regarding mining, just one last question before we move on. What do you have to tell to the youngsters, like young boys and girls, who actually are wanting to come to this mining sector?
Okay. If you're planning to enter the mining sector, I would just say it's you have to be in the sector for like few years at least. See, because in mining sector, your your salary or your growth, it will happen over a period of time. It's not like in IT or the other sectors where 2 or 3 years you suddenly have a leap in your salary and a leap in your like, position.
Yeah,
In mining sector, I would say your like job security is much better than the IT or the other services sector. See, because once you get into a company, they take you in for life, or at least that is the mindset they have. If you like put in some work, if you prove yourself to be an asset to the company, it's almost like a government job. I mean, they won't like let you go. Once you enter 21 or 22, you can stay in that company till you're 58, 60, or you can switch to another company. Like
yeah,
basically, your life is taken care of. So this layoff or the other like job losses that you see in the IT and the other sectors, I would say mining is somewhat immune to that because I mean the brief period that I worked in the mining sector, I've never seen anyone getting fired. Of course, if people got fired because they made a mistake, but not something that was out of their hand. But in IT or in the other sectors, sometimes you can get fired
yeah.
without you making any mistake.
In fact,
Because
2024 itself in the US, the services sector companies like Tesla, Amazon, and all these companies have had huge layoffs here in US. But mechanical or core sectors, they have still stayed if you have the required skills.
exactly,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And
yeah,
even in future I think it will be the case because in IT or in the services sector sometimes you can lose your job and you had like nothing to do with it, like you had nothing to do with you
absolutely.
like losing your job. But in mining I think if you work and if you work well, your job is ensured. So like no one is going to like, fire you. So that job security, I think, for young boys and girls, like
Yeah,
getting into the core sector, manufacturing or mining, your like jobs. See, I'm not saying it's absolute job security, but at least in comparison to the services sector, your like, security is ensured. One, and like number two, I would say it's an interesting field because you're like directly contributing to the development of the country. So whatever like mining is carried out, it is used for the development. For example, the coal
true,
mining is
true.
used in the thermal like power plants, in the generation of electricity, and I mean the sector that I was working in, the cement manufacturing, is used in the construction industry, buildings, whatever infrastructure that you see around. Like cement plays a major role. So you are like, contributing directly to the development of the country. So you can have that fulfillment. Like you're not working for a client who is outside, you are like directly contributing to your country to your people.
Absolutely,
So that's
absolutely.
another.
Correct. And this is one of the goals of my channel, is to motivate youngsters, girls, boys, both, to actually work towards the betterment of our country, India. And yeah, as our special guest Naga is mentioning that mining is one sector that will help our country towards that growth. And please do try to join that sector if you want to. So Naga,
Yeah,
please
yeah,
go
yeah,
on.
yeah. Like one last line when it comes to mind. Even in your the personal growth, I would say that your like job security is assured, and also you can contribute to the development of the country. So personal as well as the larger picture. So that kind of like job satisfaction you'll definitely get. Yeah.
Definitely, Naga. So Naga, let's move on. Of course, it is really hard for a person to work in a certain sector and then just for something else, or the aim is something else in life, you then just leave that job. Be it that you must be financially fine, but still leaving a job is one of the toughest decisions to take, to actually pursue something else for which you know that you will have to work your a off throughout the year, or more than 1 year. And that decision was taken by you. uh, so can you just try to speak on it, like why did you choose to leave your job, and how hard was it before you went to the next step of your life?
Okay. See, I had an inclination for civil services when I was a kid because I was like surrounded by many civil servants. My dad was a civil servant. My uncle was a civil servant. So basically, in my family, you had four or five civil servants. So I grew up in a family like surrounded by civil servants. So there was always this inclination to take up civil services since you are like closely associated with it, like right from your childhood. But as you know, in India, there is always a mad rush to become an engineer or a doctor. So after I completed my 12th, and once you get a good score in your 12th and your entrance exam, uh, you pretty much have only two options: either become an engineer or a doctor, or at least it was that way when I graduated from school, right? So I was no different from the other kids at that point in time, or my parents were also no different from parents back in the day. I was also given the option of joining either engineering or medicine. I chose again. So yeah, after that I joined the mining industry out of my interest only. But there was always this inclination to join the civil service, to do what I really wanted from my child. It's not that I was like fed up with my job in the mining industry, but I probably had a better passion towards civil service. So I mean, the year I I left my job for maybe 7 or 8 months, I was having this on my mind that I should like pursue civil service. If not now, I can't I can't do it later, right? I can't do it in my 30s. So this is the only uh, chance or the only age for me to try what I really want to try in my life.
Hmm.
And it took a lot of thinking, as you like rightly pointed out, like leaving a job and getting something else. It requires a lot of deliberation. You have to think, you have to like sit down with parents, with friends, to analyze.
Right.
It's not an easy decision to make, but like fortunately for me, my parents they were able to take care of themselves financially. I didn't have to support my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So like financially, it was an easy decision to make because my parents they basically told me you do whatever you want, that you're not dependent on financially. It was easy, but still to put your career at stake and to try something else that
Yep.
uh, that requires a certain level of guts, I would say.
Yeah.
And I was I was willing to take that with. So I
All right,
decided, okay,
nice.
this is
So,
something that
you you actually studied a lot of subjects during your UPSC uh, exams, basically when you were giving the exams. I will move to the exam portion probably in one of the future videos with you.
sure.
But the subject that I want to focus on with you is Indian history,
Yeah,
as you like it, and then I have also spoken to you a lot of times, and I feel that your knowledge is really good. Uh, Name me three different aspects of Indian history that you really like, and why.
okay. See, like Indian history, you can like divide it into three segments: the ancient history, the medieval period, and the modern history. So the ancient history is basically it starts from uh, Indus Valley civilization, and it goes through the different eras of the Mauryas, the Guptas, etc. So I mean, the medieval history it starts from the invasion of the foreigners, and then I mean, the modern history is the invasion of the Europeans. So you can like split that into like three phases. What I like really like about Indian history, see, like studying the past, it really helps you to solve the problems of what is happening like right now. From the broader perspective, I feel that uh, like knowing how the administration was carried out back then, what mistakes our forefathers made back then, you can apply it to
So
what
are
is
you
happening now.
so basically are you talking regarding the Guptas or the Mauryas
Okay,
specifically?
like not like necessarily any particular era. I'm saying holistically. See, if you take the rule of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the infamous king, he took certain like revolutionary like decisions, like changing the capital or changing the currency or whatever. He was like revolutionary in so many ways, but it didn't work. He was probably like ahead of his time. He couldn't like really apply his mind to what is happening currently. I mean, the same thing can be applied to today. I mean, the ruler or the prime minister of the country, he should like live in the present moment. Like, what are the issues happening currently and how to address them? He can't be 10 or 15 years futuristic, or maybe like think about something that will work maybe like 20 years down the line, and can't like take that particular decision. He has to take a decision for the current needs of the population. Of course, you can plan for the future. Every country has to plan for the future. But first and foremost, you have to address the issues of the people, of the current people. So that particular lesson you can take from the moment in Tukla. I mean, he planned for the future and ignoring the needs of the present. So you get what I'm saying, right? So like these are the lessons you can take from the past about
Hmm.
how the British ruled us, what mistakes they made, and how we can apply it to the current era.
What is the what are the most controversial moments of Indian history in your view?
I think the most like controversial, I would say, after the British invasion, I think they played this like divide and rule quite quite efficiently. I mean, in the dynasties that were there before, like even though it was an unequal like society, I think after the British, after they came in, like the division of people across, especially across the religious line, it became more like pronounced. They, and they were very clever. The British, they understood that you have to pit these people against each other. Only then we can ruled this country for a long period of time, and their strategy worked. It worked so well that they were here for 2 or 3 centuries, right? So
Yeah.
I would
They
say the
actually,
most.
yeah, they actually played with the greed of the small kings all
Yes,
over India. But then don't you think that even the Mughals played the same game?
yes, obviously. See, the Mughal era also had its own uh, like drawbacks. I mean, but see, like there were certain kings who were interested in the benefit of the society as whole. See, for example, I would say Akbar. Akbar as a king, he was pretty much interested in the welfare of the society as a whole. Of course, you have the other extreme in Aurangzeb and other kings, but like there were certain kings who were interested in the welfare of society as well. But like during the English period, it was not the case. Everything was related to plunder of wealth and taking that wealth to England, and every decision was taken for the benefit of a country that is far away from us.
Hmm.
So it was not uh, like diverted towards the benefit of the citizens of here for the Indian people. Whatever like legislation they passed, or whatever like decisions they took, it was for some like prime minister or some citizens, some wealthy class who are living far away in London, in Manchester. So I think like that is like primarily the difference between the Mughal era and the
And
okay, the drain of wealth you're just saying, right? See,
yeah.
okay, so the drain of wealth, it basically happened uh, in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know about like Dadabai, like Nauroji. He has written extensively on it, on the drain of wealth. I think the interested people they can read like Dadabai, Nauroji. He arrived on the scene much earlier than Mahatma Gandhi. So he has written extensively on that. I would recommend it. Yes. So I'll put it in a like nutshell of how this works. So they extracted the raw materials from here, from India, and the British they extracted the raw material, and that raw material was sent to Manchester, and all the products were made there in Manchester, and then the product was imported here to India at a very cheap price,
Hmm.
and basically all the local like producers they were like pushed out of the sea. So I mean the raw material is taken from here, and the cheap products are like flooded here, and basically our indigenous industry they had to like shut shop and they had to move out. So we do not get anything like back in return, or our the producers were like marginalized at the interest of the cotton manufacturers back in Manchester.
Hmm.
So that is how the drain of wealth worked.
Hmm.
Our like resources were plundered,
Hmm.
and the end products was like made in England, and the product was flooded here in the Indian market. We were forced to buy the foreign products. So I
Well,
would
I
say like that
was
is why.
seeing somewhere that if we calculate the amount right now in today's money, I think the Britishers plundered, I think, somewhere in the region of $45 trillion from us.
Yeah, I think probably even more than that. I'm not exactly sure of the figure, but like Dadabai, like Nauroji has given a figure in his book. Uh, don't exactly recall, but yeah, you are like roundabout there. I think it's somewhere there. See, like that is why when the first like widespread movement against the British, when it started, even before like Gandhi Swadeshi movement back in like 1905, one of the main like tenets of that movement was the boycott of foreign goods, because uh, I mean, the local production was completely out. The people, all the local manufacturers, small like, business people, the workers, everyone they were like phased out. So when the first like movement against British that started on a large scale, I'm talking about even before the arrival of Gandhi on the scene. when this Swadeshi movement was carried out here in India. I mean, the boycott of foreign goods, that was one of the major aspects of that movement. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, so I think that there is a lot to speak to you
yeah,
because
definitely.
uh, because the tree is such a huge subject.
Yes.
But I think that we are just running out of time.
Yeah.
So I think that we can call it here for now. But I will assure the viewers that we will be calling Naga again for different stories, and I
Okay.
think we will be going into more specifics in the future.
Yeah, we can
Good,
talk about
bad. Sorry,
UPSC preparation as well. We can talk about the UPSC preparation
absolute,
because maybe some of you, like viewers, they want to get into civil services as well. How to go about it, how to give the preliminary exam, how to prepare for May, how to prepare for the
absolutely,
interview. We can do one exclusive, session on that because the UPSC crowd is growing, day by day. A lot of people wanting
absolutely.
to become, civil servants. So maybe we can have one exclusive session for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we will do that in the next few weeks itself. So it
Sure.
won't be very long. So firstly, I want to thank you, Naga, regarding
Yeah,
sharing so many different facts, really nice facts from which we all learn. So thank you. And then, as Naga only promised, that we will be back with the UPSC special video, especially for the students who want to prepare for the UPSC exams. Plus, we will be also doing a separate video, I think, on how the on what were the most worst of the Britishers when they were here, maybe.
yeah,
And yeah, so thank you, Naga, for being here.
yeah. Thank you so much, Pawandeep, for having me. It's a wonderful initiative, and I really like the fact that you don't have a specific uh, content, for your videos. It is anything under the sun. I think that's how the content should be, because I see many YouTubers, they are stuck with one particular field or one particular content. But in your case, your content is diverse. You're talking about so many things. You're bringing in guests from so many different fields. So I think it's truly an eye opener for all types of the viewers. I think that is your USP, and I think you should keep it that way because it is widespread and it can cover so many people. And thanks again for having. And I really love talking to you anytime. You're a very nice person. And I think we can do another video.
Absolutely. Thank you, Naga. Thank you for being here. And guys, we will be bringing more such guests from different fields, probably from sports field in the near future. And we will be, of course, bringing in Naga again as promised. So thank you, guys. Like, subscribe, and share to my channel. I will see you again. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye bye.